Hello, welcome back to our bi-weekly Subspace DevSync, where we kind of discuss what's been happening in the network over the last couple of weeks. Um, Hold on, we've got somebody asking to join. Okay, well, um, we discussed what's been happening over the last couple of weeks, any issues and stuff that we may be seeing in the network, kind of a hot topic section that we pull much from our Discord interactions with the community. We'll also be this week talking about what's next, kind of looking forward beyond maybe even the next couple of weeks. So to get started, the big news, and I know Jim wishes he could be here because this is his baby with Stake Wars that he's been very excited about, but he's actually on the way traveling to Arizona in the United States for our ecosystem offsite. So I get to be I guess, continued announcer of Stake Wars. I don't have the same kind of low voice that he says Stake Wars with, that I think somebody was comparing to Piers Morgan on the call last week. But Stake Wars is live. Phase 2 is live. We have permissionless operators. This means that we have execution on the network in a permissionless way. Big, kind of huge step forward for the project in moving towards solving the farmer's dilemma with our decoupled execution framework. So very exciting times. We'll talk a bit about some of the feedback we've received so far on that in a couple of minutes. But before we do, just I give a quick update on the general state of Gemini 3G. First, we did have a lot of upgrades last week or releases last week. I don't know how many in a row we had, 5, 6, 7 days, something like that, where we had releases, and we know that's fatiguing to do the upgrade every day. But we have kind of stabilized the release a bit. So we are only at 70% of the network upgraded. So we really need to get that number up. So that remaining 30%, if that's you, go do the upgrade. Talking about in more detail of what many of those upgrades entailed and kind of the path to getting to where we are now, hand over to Shamil to discuss the DSN.
Okay. In Gemini 3G, we introduced several new features. Among them are automatic calendar mode, reliance on AutoNAT protocol, and quick transfer protocol. Those features were meant to improve DSN in general, and specifically fasten the speed of that piece retrieval, connection establishment, just in general networking performance. However, we encountered major issues with DSN. For some time, its internal tests were failing completely. And last several weeks, we persistently tried to fix those issues. We, I think, had 5 or 6 gotcha moments that we certainly that we found the solution. However, we find new and new issues even in upstream libraries like AutoNAT protocol from libp2p or that quick implementation. So we went deeper and deeper in the code. And finally, I think we found a critical point that was that we allowed users to set some dangerous combination of parameters. And I think when we fixed that, in combination of all our previous fixes for the last several weeks, it seems that DSN works much more stable now. At least our internal tests showed 100% success. However, the success is related to DSN plotting. Some issues could be encountered during the DSN syncing for nodes, and this will be the next focus, but I don't think that they should be as severe as previously. Basically, that's it. Those releases were multiple attempts to find and not just find and narrow down the exact problem, what caused it. So that's the DSN failure. That's it.
So we expect this to now be fairly stable, the DSN, or is there more fixes or more things to look into?
It should be plotting should be very stable. However, node sync could have some issues, but not as severe as previously, because previous issues were connected with just with general pieces availability in the network. There was very limited amount of accessible nodes or accessible peers in the network, and it should be fixed now.
Well, I know you and Nazar had a great time hunting those down. Very little frustration, I imagine, just really pure enjoyment.
Several weeks of pure fun, yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that's the state of Gemini 3G. It's good. Things are working mostly as expected. The DSN ability to sync from DSN. Yeah, that's great. Exciting. All right. So I think we'll switch to hot topics that we're seeing right now with the community. In no particular order, I'm just going to kind of go down my list. So first, a lot of people have noticed that we're seeing bundle equivocation, fraud-proof errors. Ved, do you mind giving a bit of an overview first of what that is, what the likely cause is, and then maybe discuss why we're seeing errors, like what that error is, and
Yeah. Yeah. So bundle equivocation is essentially caused when an operator running two nodes with the same operator signing key on both the nodes trying to submit the bundle. So this would essentially means that they are producing two bundles for the same slot, and that would cause a bundle equivocation. Now, the reason why we are seeing it on Gemini 3G is the bundle equivocation fraud proof is not fully enabled. And as a result, the fraud-proof submission fails, even though the node detects that there was an equivocation done by a particular operator. So that's the main reason why we are seeing that error. We made some more changes to the that will come in the next release. That would essentially make every operator to give the operator ID to the node in the command line that they're going to start with. That should reduce some of these equivocations happening. And we are also planning on adding some more logs as to which specific operators are actually causing this bundle equivocation, so that we could ask them to stop doing that as well. Yeah.
Well, the root problem here, just to emphasize, is that operators are not supposed to run the same identity on multiple nodes. They will be slashed if they do that. The only reason we see it repeatedly is they were not slashed because the slashing part was not fully implemented.
Yeah.
So they should stop it now while they can, because once we implement it, they will get slashed completely.
They were just lucky so far.
Yeah. It's a good time, slowly educate the operator community of the pitfalls that likely await them, potentially await them. It's worth noting we did make it, I believe, with a runtime upgrade last week, made it so that they at least couldn't register to operators with the same signing key, which was also causing quite a bit of confusion in the community. So, so the first part of that, kind of the fix to help avoid the situation has already been released into the network. The second one will be with the CLI upgrade flag. So that should come, I think, with the next release, likely.
Yep.
Another issue, of course, this is a contest, Stake Wars, and when there's a contest, people want to know how they're doing. And so in order to do that, since the measurement is rewards earned as an operator, so essentially the transaction fees. And I have to admit, we did not get supporting software out to make that very easy at this point. However, I do believe it is on the way, that it's actually in the middle of being released. Maybe, Mohammed, I can put you on the spot since I see you're here. Do you know where we are with at least the indexing of the operator rewards?
Yeah, so we had a bit of a setback on that. We had like an hour to finish the indexing, but we had a bit of setback on that. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Okay. There was a fix that needed to be implemented with the conch IDs, so we had to re-index the chain for that. So hopefully tomorrow that can finish and we can switch over to that.
Yep. So we are doing everything we can right now to get that data readily available. It will be available in both the Block Explorer and actually eventually in the staking interface as well. But bear with us. The other side to that is all of the data is available in various different ways via the chain data. So anyone in the community is also very welcome to take a stab at maybe creating a dashboard. I think it would be something we would greatly appreciate, and the community at large would also kind of greatly appreciate. So that said, we will have something soon. Just bear with us. Also, kind of tangentially related, staking interface. So the staking interface is a great tool, I think, to make it easier than the Polkadot.js interactions. But it is very, very much alpha software. Our testing is, as much of testing is when you're moving fast as testing a bit in production. So all of the feedback is very welcome. Continue to give it. I know Mark has been the primary dev on that and has been working tirelessly to take that feedback and implement it. And much of that feedback you should already see in the interface, but continue to give us feedback. It's how we progress that software. So another recent issue that people have been highlighting is they're seeing errors relating to slow, or messages relating to slow domain block execution. This is a new message, I think maybe went in with the latest runtime upgrade. But maybe Ning, you can explain what that is and kind of what we're looking into regarding that.
Yeah, sure. So the slow domain block execution error is due to that the domain block execution is taking longer time than we expected. We usually expecting like 2 second max, but some of you may saw that it will take 10 or 20 seconds to produce a domain block. That was due to that the domain block have fit into too much extrinsic, too much transaction. And we already had an issue to tracking this to have a limit to bundle weights and domain block weight. We have some discussion on the GitHub, but they still not solved yet, so you can still see this. And it is expected, and it's mostly due to the domain block, not your nodes. But to notice that there are we have some requirement to learning the operator nodes. There are some hardware requirements that you should ensure your node have met that requirement. Otherwise, you will still showing that message after the issue is fixed. Yeah.
There was also a related question from some community members whether they can run an operator and farmer on the same machine, which might be part of the reason, like if they're actively plotting or replotting, it will occupy a lot of resources. So it might take them longer to actually produce a block. So make sure you have resources for everything.
Great. And then last but not, I don't think the community will feel as least, we did finally get a Pulsar release out. So this is the first Pulsar release that is compatible with Gemini 3G. I have not tested it myself or looked for feedback since it was released, but it is out. We do know, I believe the running an operator is enabled with it, but it has not been thoroughly tested. So there may be issues if you're trying to run an operator with it. So expect to see further releases as we work through any issues we find with compatibility with Gemini 3G and operators. So I think that's it for hot topics, unless anybody else has. So Daria, I know one of the things people have been asking is how are rewards? I guess what's the process in which they get rewards? They see they've staked, and then they don't see any current epoch rewards if they're looking at that, or they don't see their balance growing immediately. And I know that within the Subnomicon, it wasn't even very, very clear. So maybe you could talk a little bit about what we're doing to improve that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the things that operators should have for the rewards is patience, because rewards don't arrive immediately. We have epoch transitions, we have challenge periods that might even be longer in the next releases of the network for security reasons. But I have been adding today, it's still not on the public page, it's on the GitHub, but the description of in the whole workflow from the transaction being submitted, when is it that the operators is going to see the rewards? So there's is going to be a paragraph on that, what exactly happens, where the rewards come, why they don't see them on the wallet, because the rewards go to the pool and they stay there unless somebody asks for a withdrawal. So there's also another thing. There is in some blockchains, the rewards go like directly to their wallet. So that's not what's happening in Subspace, for instance. So I'll be publishing that in. Please keep those questions coming, and we can make Subnautica grow and be more clear for everyone.
Great. It's been a very useful tool already, and will continue to be as people ask questions, and we continue to expand that. Thank you, Daria. All right, so that's it for hot topics, State of Gemini 3G. So I guess the big thing is what's next. Immediately what's next will be for Stake Wars. We'll be enabling nomination probably next week. That's kind of the stated schedule. So all of you who aren't running operators but want to be also earning from the transaction fees generated by Nova, you'll be able to do that by nominating your operator. You'll probably want to nominate one that's not getting bundle equivocation issues. So it does matter. So I know that we have a channel on Discord where operators can sell themselves. So you maybe will want to do a bit of due diligence on that. We'll try to make the logs clear so you can see any signing keys to avoid. And then beyond Stake Wars is planning for Gemini 3H is actually beginning now. So the stated launch date for 3H is in about a month. I don't. Well, I shouldn't equivocate on this. But we're shooting for in about a month is the launch of 3H. But things happen and delays are sometimes probable and certainly possible. But hopefully in about a month we'll have Gemini 3H launching. And what's Gemini 3H going to have that 3G doesn't? So things we're shooting for is cross-domain messaging fully implemented and tested. We're still defining some of the kind of final pieces of that. Fully implemented rewards model. So the way issuance works right now is very static at the kind of targeting one TSSC per block between votes and block rewards, but that'll likely be changing. Of course, there's always going to be more performance optimizations. A fully implemented fraud-proof system for domains. So those equivocators will be getting slashed as that becomes fully implemented. And then instantiable domains. So right now, we're the only ones who can instantiate a domain. But in the future, we do expect that anybody can instantiate their own domain with an already registered runtime, so the EVM runtime in our case. So that's what's coming. I think that's all I have for today. So as always, we appreciate anybody who watches us. Any feedback you give us in Discord, we'll try to incorporate. And thank you.